And recording. Hello, Cyril White. It is July 23rd, 2022, and I wanted to make a recording about the status of my life at this point in time. Haven't made one of these recordings in quite some time. I think the last one I made was when I was in the thick of working at Rogue Fitness in Columbus, Ohio, around the holidays. So it's 7 months since then or so, and a lot of things have changed. And I wanted to record that so I can remember it, and so maybe my daughters might want to see what their dad was going through and what life was like at this point in time. I know I wish I had recordings of my father throughout his life, so and maybe grandchildren or something like that. That's it, for no one else. And so I can remember what times were like at this point in time, because I think that's important, because the older I get, the more my memory fades, and I wanted to record what is happening and how I'm feeling. So just today, just for an example, is Saturday. Leslie is at a pickleball tournament all weekend. Her business, Wolverine Pickleball, is thriving. So proud of her. I've been playing more and more pickleball. It's fun. It's a good way to test my fitness, to use all that fitness for something besides fitness, and to meet lots of other people. And in my new old career business, it, I believe, will be very beneficial just to get in front of as many people as I can. These people typically have disposable income. And I've got a lot of personal training clients from pickleball. And they are people that really need help because they want to be active. They have a lot of injuries. They get injured and they need to be stronger. They need to know mobility, and they just don't know. Their thought of mobility and staying in shape so they can play pickleball, which is all they want to do, is stretching for like 30 seconds to a minute before they play pickleball, and it's just not enough. I'm having a workshop on August 6th, specifically for pickleball players, to teach them proper warm-up techniques, proper rolling out and mobility techniques that will significantly help them stay injury-free and rehabilitate injuries and just feel better all around, whether they play pickleball ever again or not. Things that I've learned over the last 8 years of doing CrossFit and coaching CrossFit and having to fix injuries so that you have clients. I learned early on that if your clients are injured, they're typically not going to come to you. They're going to go to the doctor, they're going to go to the physical therapist, and you're not going to see them, and they're going to be scared to come back or can't come back. And you have to know how to prevent those injuries, how to rehabilitate those injuries so they can keep training. And for myself as well, I've learned this because I obviously love training. And if I'm injured, I can't train as hard as I want to train. So I've had to learn how to fix these injuries. And I've been successful in doing that. I've only had one night of drinking alcohol since last New Year's, and that was when I was visiting John Conway at his farm, and after our trip to see Nina in Nashville, which was an awesome trip. I was obsessing. We were sitting around. It's a beautiful night. I'm with my friend. I'm on vacation, and the thing to make it a perfect time and evening was to share some bourbon and beers with him. And I was obsessing about it so much that I figured, why not just do it, and then I won't regret not doing it. I did feel like shit the next day, but I think it was well worth it. And that's the last time I drank, which was the end of June. Before that, I had not had any alcohol. I've discovered alcohol-free beer, which now, thankfully, they've come up with a couple of brands that taste pretty damn good, and I can drink regularly and feel no effects of alcohol whatsoever. and it doesn't slow me down at all. I don't feel tired. It doesn't screw my sleep up, and it tastes pretty damn good. So, and it's pretty satisfying, and I don't have to drink alcohol. So, just a couple of drinks with John Conway, end of June. Haven't drank since. Don't plan to drink again until I go hunting with John, which will be the perfect time to do so, to kick back, let off some steam. And we set up a blind at his house. I got to visit CrossFit Mayhem in Coopersville, Coopersville, Tennessee, which was awesome. That's Rich Froning's gym, just an amazing place. I could just feel the peace and the energy, and just a place like I would like to coach at one day. I just love being around people that want to be better, and the CrossFit gym and the elite CrossFit gyms. It doesn't even have to be elite athletes, so it helps to just be around those kinds of people as well. When I was there, I opened the door for a woman who is one of the top CrossFit athletes, Veronica, someone I think is her name, Campos, a Brazilian woman who I just watched in a video right before I left for Nashville. And I opened the door for her at CrossFit Mayhem, so that was pretty damn cool. I don't get starstruck about many people at all, if anyone, except for people like my mentors, like Jocko Willink and people like that, and top CrossFit athletes, the other ones. Not really starstruck, but I think it's cool to be around them. So today, again, Leslie is at a pickleball tournament all weekend. I got up, didn't drink last night at all, again. So I got up, there's Dilly. Just took the dog swimming at a pond that's near our house. That's really cool. It's like you're in the middle of nowhere. Just a nice little pond. You can't see any houses. It's public land. And Khaleesi loves swimming in the, it's hot as heck here. It's in the mid 80s all week, close to 90, humid. And the dogs and I needed to cool off. So that's what we did. And they had a great time running around. I take them for walks every day, just about every day, but it's on a leash, and they don't get a chance to run, and it's a pain in the ass, and it's one of the many negatives about living in the city. But we're close enough to a little bit of nature out here on the western edge of Washtenaw County, which is cool, so I can get to nature relatively quickly. Dirt road's right next to our subdivision, goes all the way to the little small pond, and I can take the dog swimming. And I even went in, and there was no one there. Had it all to ourselves. I really miss nature. I miss the nature of our farm. We got a little bit of nature right behind our house here, a little piece of woods, but houses close on both sides. I really hate living in a subdivision. But the good thing about it is you don't really know what you like until you're away from it. I always knew I liked living on a farm in nature, but we got a little burnt out from all the farm work and being there 20 years. And needed a change, but this change really, really makes me realize that I need to be on my own land, self-sufficient, in nature, more than not. I can't stand the city. I can't stand neighbors. I can't stand the strip malls, and I'm probably heavier than I've been in a long time, just because there's fast food places right next to our house, and it's more convenient, especially when you're alone and not getting home till 7 at night and you don't feel like cooking anything, but it packs on the pounds for sure. And I've been more sedentary because of my new old business venture, which is back in the financial services business with the firm For Financial in Ann Arbor that I sold my practice to in 2014. They had reached out to me one of the partners reached out to me, David, over LinkedIn when I was in the middle of looking for another job. I had applied to hundreds of other jobs, including my awesome alma mater, U of M, University of Michigan, which has thousands of jobs listed. I applied for things that I was clearly overqualified for and didn't get even an interview on one, which was very disheartening. But David reached out to me, asked me if I'd be interested in getting back into the business with them. And it really is the perfect opportunity for me. I just passed the Certified Financial Planner exam again for the second time. I didn't have to take that, but I figured if I'm going to be in it, I'm going to be like I do everything. I'm going to be all freaking in, and to have the highest designation, which I already have, so I may as well be able to use the designation, and just to make sure that I can compete with anyone else, any other advisors that have that designation. And I passed the exam first time. I passed 3 other exams before that, the Series 65, the Series 7, and even a new one that they didn't have when I first started, the Securities Industry Exam, SIE, which was stupid. It was just a tiny part of the Series 7, same information. But it was a challenge to study for all those over the last couple of months, and I passed them all the first time. I just jammed right through them. I thank God I had blocks of time where I could put aside and study, and we don't have young kids or anything, and Leslie's busy with her work all the time. So when I wasn't coaching or working out myself, I was studying, and I'm very proud that I was able to do that at 56 exams that I passed when I was in my 30s. And I passed them the first time, don't have to take anything over, and I'm ready to go like that in the financial services business again. The bureaucracy, even with an independent broker-dealer, and the time it takes just to get approved for shit, just to do good business, honest business, is somewhat disheartening, but I'm not surprised by that. And I'm not used to that because I've been used to I have an idea, I want to go after a client, I want to implement something in my business. For the last 8 years in the fitness business, I can do that without having to get 5,000 people's approval to do something that's good for the clients. But that's the way it is, and I'll deal with that and do the best I can. I already have leads for financial advisory clients from just putting out there that I'm back in the business on social media from my old gym clients. So that's cool. They have a beautiful office in the 777 building. That's nice to go to. It's like a ghost town in there. Like no one hardly speaks to each other. Maybe because it's summer, and maybe because people are so used to working at home, and COVID's still going around. So lots of people are coming down with COVID and not coming into the office, and it's a mess. Still, my training partner, Kendall, has COVID again. He's fully vaccinated and has it and hasn't been able to train. So people are still getting that shit. I've been lucky enough to, I think I had it back in like February. Not this year, but last year. I've never been tested, so I don't know if I've had it. I'm sure I've had it because I haven't had it since, even with all the variants that are supposedly more contagious. It's good. My coaching at Forged Barbell is good. I'm coaching just as much as I always have, except for the noon classes, which is fine because I think that's a waste of time and no one hardly ever shows up for those, and you're having to stop everything in the middle of the day. But now I'm just morning and evening, weekends, personal training, going great, picking up new clients all the time, and keeping me busy all the time, which is awesome. The girls, Nina's thriving in Nashville, having a great time. She's living with some great guys, musicians, in a beautiful house. And she posted a picture of her singing at a bar on Broadway, which is the crazy street with all the bars on Nashville, on the strip there, but she hasn't said anything about it. We haven't heard from it. Sasha's down there for her buddy's bachelorette party. Sasha's doing great in her business, but is feeling the stress of working for a large company and working for idiots. And that's one of the great benefits that I have of my new opportunity with For Financial, is I can come and go as I please. I can run my business as I please. I'm super excited to be able to build yet another business from scratch, pretty much, but with a great base. I mean, I've done this for 25 years. I'm fully licensed and certified again, and I have a great team that I can lean on to do the grunt work that I shouldn't spend time doing, like picking the investments and doing trades and all that stuff. I have a platform. I have a team. I'm not a solo, just out there flapping in the wind by myself. So it's much more impressive, and I think people feel safer because they know. They're essentially hiring me if they hire me, if they want me to help them with their finances. But I think they'll feel more comfortable because they know it's not just me doing yet another thing that I've done since the pandemic, since closing my gym. And it's not just like a fly-by-night thing. I'm fully committed to building another business that's long-term. I don't care if it takes 15 more years. I'm going to build that business, and it's going to be sustainable, and it's going to provide for my family in the future. I wish there was a way that we could live even more frugally. And the main largest expense is the rent for this house, this giant house that's mainly empty. And the rent is almost $3,000 a month, and he's probably going to raise it when our lease is up in December. And we really should live somewhere that's a fraction of that. But even slums are $1,000 a month. So, you're not saving that much by living in a slum. So you might as well live somewhere nice. So yet again, I'm forced to try and make more money so we can just survive. But I don't want to just survive. I want to thrive. So I'm going to figure out a way to do that. I have the extra income from Forged Barbell, which is doing something I love. I love building businesses, and financial services is very similar to coaching fitness in that you're helping people with something that's very important, that's very confusing, and people just don't know what's right and what's wrong and what's bullshit and what's not bullshit. And so they need someone to trust, and they need a coach to motivate them, to inspire them, to make sure they're on the right track, to be the one that's prompting them to go further when they don't want to and when they would just want to forget about it. So it's very similar in that respect. And I'm looking forward to having both sets of income streams. I'm a little disheartened in that it's so fitness and health is so important, but money for the sake of money, it's it's, money is important. There's no question about that. But I just feel like a lot of times the things that the financial services business comes up with that are the things that they want you to sell to make money are really not right for the clients and useless and bullshit. So I think there's a lot of bullshit in that business, and that's why I got out of the business. But I tried getting into other businesses and was unsuccessful. And I feel somewhat unsuccessful from the standpoint that I'm having to go back into that business. That was one of my biggest nightmares when I was just doing my fitness business, was having to get back into that business. But I've tried to do other things, and I've worked really hard at them, and given the time, I would have been very successful at them, but they just didn't feel right. This does feel more right than the other things, and it's the thing I have the most experience in. So it just makes sense, and I'll make the best of it, and I'll do the best that I can for my family and for my clients. And I'm proud of the fact that I've done well at something, studying for these tests, which is like sticking hot nails into my eyes. Like something I just did not want to do. But I could have easily just flunked them because I didn't put forth the effort and didn't want to do it. But I didn't. I did my best that I could, and I passed with flying colors, which proves that I can do hard shit that I don't want to do. And that's more important to me than being able to just do what I want to do. It's easy to be good at what you just want to do. It's not easy to be good at shit that you don't want to do. And I use that as fuel, and I'm happy about that. And it makes me feel good that I'm getting up every day and not only getting to do what I love still whenever I want. And another beautiful thing about it is because I'm more on the marketing, sales, and client relationship side, my job is to just be in front of people. And the best way to be in front of people is to be doing things that you're passionate about and that you enjoy doing, like training, coaching, pickleball. And I mean, what a great job that is. And just being attuned to people's needs and listening to people and wanting to know more about people. The other good thing that I'm happy about in this position is it's focused me on my finances and wanting to be great at that and wanting to save and wanting to have security for my family, and knowing everything there is to know and get paid for that, just like in fitness, as opposed to doing something else on someone else's time, 8 hours, 10 hours a day, and then having to figure out your finances and what works and what doesn't work on your own. But now I get to do that as part of my job and what I do. So that's awesome. And set an example. I've made big financial mistakes. I've made a lot of money. I've lost a lot of money. I've made mistakes. I think that's more valuable than someone that's hasn't made the mistakes and will make the mistakes but hasn't made them yet, and they're your financial advisor. I think so. Now I not only have the knowledge and the theory, but the actual scars of what to do and what not to do, and have lived it, and will come out. And when I'm successful and build yet another successful, great business in financial services, it'll make another good story. I visited my parents on the way up back from Conway's. When I was at Conway's, it was awesome. It made me miss, they have a beautiful place. Virginia's beautiful. It made me miss living on a farm, being by a farm, but seeing the amount of work they had to do at their age, I did not miss that. It's freaking exhausting. Something smaller, definitely, and having some of that work would be good, and I'm all for that. but not at the scale that they have. John and I put up a deer blind. It's going to be sweet. I'm going to go hunting there. I'm super excited about that. Hunting is very spiritual to me, and being able to do that with my best friend on his beautiful property and to make memories from that will be even more special. One thing I've noticed about not drinking alcohol is every day is better than even a boring day. Sober is better than a great night drunk, and then your regular days are not as good as just your regular boring days when you're sober. Your regular boring everyday days, you notice things, you're calmer, you're more satisfied with average things than you are when you're not sober. And that's one of the things I think our society is making a huge mistake with. The amount we spend and focus on not being present, which drinking alcohol, smoking pot, eating edibles, taking narcotics to dull our senses because we're anxious or depressed, I think is a big mistake, and we're missing living life. Life is stressful, it's anxious, it sucks most of the time. But if you're used to feeling good for those couple minutes or hours because you're on some kind of narcotic or booze or pot, then the times you're not on that shit, you're not going to be as happy. And I've definitely felt and realized that. Reagan still isn't talking to us, but she is communicating with her sisters, and her and Sasha and their boyfriends and husband. She's married. She's living in Ferndale. They've gone out a few times and they enjoy each other's company, which, knowing how Reagan and Sasha grew up together and didn't care for each other that much growing up, is very, it makes me feel really good that all of a sudden they're best pals, which just boggles my mind. She's still not talking to us, which hurts really bad and sucks. I think about her every day. But I thank God that she's at least has a good relationship with her sisters. That's so huge. So thankful for that. And yeah, that's really, I think, about it. One thing I want to really focus on is finishing my book for the girls by Christmas to give it as a Christmas gift. I really want to do that. So as soon as this video is done, I'm going to start working on that. I want to finish the book of my memories from my life up until this point to give to the girls at Christmas. That'll be a huge, even if they, I can't imagine they wouldn't appreciate it. Maybe not now, but someday. But it'll be a huge accomplishment for me to finish that. And then I can work on my coaching book. And to finish 2 books, even if no one reads them, just to be able to finish that and put my thoughts of my life and what I've learned into writing an actual bound book, to me it would be a big accomplishment. I realize as much as I hate the subdivision and all that and wanting to have a different life where I'm at, I also realize, and I think this is a big part of being sober as well, that, and you know, this is preached in every religion, every philosophy, is you have to be satisfied where you're at, wherever it is, at that point in your life. Because if you're not, if you're always focusing on what you had in the past or what you want to have in the future, you're going to be unhappy where you are right now. And that's all you have is where you are right now. So You know, I don't know.